Morning students of class 11 history. You know that we are having the offline classes, and in my last class we have completed chapter number 4, that was the Central Islamic land, right? And you know that we have completed that, but I haven't given you the questions, the short questions of that particular chapter. So when everything will be normal, when everything will be fine and we will be able to go to school and take your online classes through Skype, that time please remind me of giving the questions to you, okay? And you also know that the CBSE has reduced the syllabus up to 30%. So as they have reduced the syllabus up to 30%, chapter number 5, that is the Mongol Empire or the history of Genghis Khan, is not there in your syllabus at all, okay? So now today we will start with the theme number 6, that is chapter 6, or the name is the 3 orders, and today we will have the introduction and the starting of the chapter, right? 3 orders. From the name itself we can understand that there are 3 systems in wherever it can be a society, it can be a country, it can be a nation, it can be anywhere. So there were 3 rules or 3 systems, 3 styles, which are known as 3 orders. So actually what was the system? That was that we are learning, or we are entering the part of medieval period, the medieval history. The Roman Empire, Mesopotamian Empire, and the early part of the Islamic Empire was under the ancient part or ancient history, right? And the topic which we are going to study it right now, that is in the medieval part. It starts with the 8th and 9th centuries and continue till up to 17th century. Okay, so that is the part of the 3 orders. So what is there? As I told you that there are 3 orders, means that in this chapter we are going to understand the socio-economic and political changes which occurred in the part of Western Europe during the 9th to 16th centuries. So this is the period 9th to 16th. This is the period which is known as the medieval period. Understood? And it is specially about the socio-economic, that means society, economics and science or the politics is involved in this. So we can see some changes in the factors called society, economy and politics. After the fall of the Roman Empire, many groups of Germanic people from Eastern and Central Europe occupied regions of Italy, Spain and France. And from them, these people were not civilized people. They were known as the barbaric people. In France, the people who lived there or went to France, they were known as Frank, F-R-A-N-K. So from Frank, it became French and France. And Germanic tribes or Germanic people, you have heard them in Roman Empire. The Germanic tribes or the Germanic people were different type. Like there were Goth, Vandal, and especially they were barbaric. They were not civilized. So they didn't have different ideologies, they didn't have different education. So whatever they introduced, whatever they changed in the European society, that was not up to the mark. And as it was not up to the mark, this 9th to 16th century, the medieval period of Europe, is also known as the Dark Age or the Black Age, where nothing important, nothing very beautiful, nothing very important happened during this time according to the people of that particular period, right? So in this way, in the meanwhile, peculiar or a different type of system that started in Western Europe. The system was known as feudalism, and this system was related to land. There was a relationship between different human beings based on land, and that land used to give them socio-economic, political status and identity. And based on that particular identity, based on that particular advantages, the relationship used to grow, and that is known as feudalism. And in this system of feudalism, there were certain groups, there were certain division, there were certain discriminations, and there were certain layers of the society. Like we have in Indian society, we have the Varna system. Varna system is also a, what we can say, layers of a society, discrimination of society based on occupation. One who does worship or related work, they are known as Brahmins, and they are the topmost. Some people who used to fight and do all lots of things, they are the rulers and known as Kshatriyas. They are the second group. The people who are the artisan group, or in the they used to do trading and business, they were the Vaishyas, and they are the third group. And the last group was the Shudras, who were the servants who used to serve the upper three groups, right? So like that, in feudalism or in Western Europe, there were three orders. The first order was definitely the worshipper of church. That means the priests, the clergy, the bishops, the father, the pope. They were the first group or the first order. And the second were the nobility or the aristocracy. That means the kings and rulers and landlords and all those. And the third group, there were common people. You have also seen this type of three orders in class 9 when you have read about the French Revolution. There also you have learnt about the three estates, first, second and third estate, right? So that three orders, these three orders, that depend on a relationship based on land. What is that? That the land was given to everyone. And the system, the word feudalism came from a German word, and the German word is feud, which means a piece of land. So what means that in economic sense, feudalism refers to a kind of agricultural production which is based on the relationship between lords and peasants. And in other way, this relationship is also carried over with lords and kings. So a king is giving a particular land to a landlord, and landlord is giving that particular land to a peasant. And the production, what they are getting, they are taxing on that. They are having revenue on that. And on the basis of the revenue, the peasants are serving the landlords are serving the kings. So there is a chain of relationship, and this relationship is known as feudalism. Okay, and this continued for a long time. The peasants, they perform labor service for the lords, who in exchange provide military protection, and they also had extensive judicial control over the peasants. So you can understand that the peasants, they provide their labor, they cultivate the land, they give the production to their landlords, and on exchange or in exchange of that, the landlord used to provide military protection, as well as he was there to look after the welfare of the peasants. Not only that, judicial control over the peasants was also in the hand of the landlord. That means any kind of a crime, any kind of a legal problem seen within the peasant group, seen within the labor group, that has to be solved by the landlords. And if it is not solved by the landlords, then this problem will be referred to the king. So you can understand that the land was the main basis of this system, and this became one of the major relationship in the whole medieval Europe, right? In my next class we will start with the first order. Thank you.